The summer wind is coming in. Oh boy, really? Somebody fucking messages me as soon as I start to record. The summer wind is closing in. God, it's hot in here. Welcome to my own worst enemy. This is Joe Nostalgia, aka Joe Retro, aka Joe Sciatica, aka Joey Eardrums. I got a plethora of names here that that nobody calls me. I call myself that to validate my sense of self-importance. Anyways, welcome. Thank you for tuning in once again. Last time I spoke to you was April, maybe. Could be wrong on that. Oh no, it was March. It was March. Sorry about that. Yeah. And I got to tell you, for a podcast that's meant to chronicle being better and making better choices, boy howdy did I start my day in a really bad way. I'm fucking dealing with some insomnia, aka Joe Insomnia over here. Okay, let's add that to the list. As I do, right? Can't sleep. So I start watching compilations of like old commercials and ads from our childhood. And I get to that Chef Boyardee commercial from 2006, 2005. For those who don't know, the one where the girl's like asking for it, and the mom says, "Oh no, honey, you've had it 5 times this week apparently, and as your mother, I'm only choosing to step in now and stop this." And the can follows her home, and it has the music playing. And at the end, it rolls up to her, and it's like Chef Boyardee, boy, it's good, or fucking whatever. And that really sparks a craving that you really cannot kick. And dude, look, let's be real here. By no means should Chef Boyardee really be considered as good as it is. Like, it's canned ravioli, it's canned, But Jesus Christ, does it fucking hit something, man? I see this ad. And the brain just gets going, like, wow, like when's the last time I had that? Like, it had to be over, like, 2 years ago. And I know we had one in our freaking pantry. And I didn't know what, though. I wasn't sure if it was ravioli or if it was freaking beefaroni, which beefaroni's a lot better, mind you. I open it up, and it's the mini. It's the mini raviolis, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the best morning I've had in probably a few months. The mini raviolis are far superior to the regular. I find with the regular, there's this problem that the regular ones had for years. Every time I would have one, you would always come across 2 that when they boiled, they got stuck together. Like, the bottoms of both of them got stuck together, causing that part to not boil right. And you'd always, fall for it. Like, oh, I'll just eat it. It's probably not any, there's probably nothing wrong with it. You bite down and you get that harder center. Ugh, it's the fucking worst, dude. Nothing kills the vibe more than that. But with the minis, I mean, knock on wood, I've never dealt with that. So right away when I saw that it was the minis, I was like, this is the best thing ever. This is the best possible circumstance as far as the ravioli. And that was at 5:30 in the morning. I started my fucking day with a can of ravioli. And, but you know what? I've been strict for the last few weeks. Well, I mean, let's not say strict. I've fucking had a few hiccups, all right? I think I've earned a 5:30 can of the Chef. But I love Chef. Honey, you've had it 5 times this week, and I feel like I should do something, right, as a parent, so not today, 5 was fine, but getting to 6, oh boy. Let's fucking, let's have some form of self-control here. That can fucking rolling across a freeway and shit. It's the best commercial ever. It's one of the best ads ever. And then right after that was the SpaghettiOs one, when like they're doing a rock concert in this kid's mouth. I haven't had SpaghettiOs in probably fucking, I mean, it's probably going on 5 years now. And now I want that. And that's how it goes, right? That's what they're meant to do. They're meant to spark that craving. But, like, when you haven't had something in that long, like, you almost remember what it tastes like, but you're probably wrong. It's, like, I'm probably going to go buy a can of SpaghettiOs at some point. Probably 2, because I'm probably going to get the one with the meatballs as well. Which, by the way, those as well should not be considered as good as they are. They're fucking processed like meat chunks. Like, it's so it's on paper it's so fucking gross, but it's so fucking good that like you barely want to cook it. Like, you just want to open the can and just fucking throw it back, right? It's the best stuff ever. It's the best. Uh that was my breakfast. And I'm having a I'm having a seltzer water, so I'm being somewhat healthy, right? That's probably canceling out the cholesterol and fucking whatever the fuck is in that. Like, by no means is any of that natural. Oh, it's pure ground beef in our raviolis. Yeah, okay. All right. Whatever. Oh boy. Now I'm just hanging out here. I still have the ads playing, but on silence, of course. Boiling hot in here. Yeah. It's been, wow, March was my last episode. How have I been since then? I don't even know. It's all like a blur, really. I've been alright, I guess. I got back on my diet. I think back in March when I last spoke to you guys, I was like, low 240s. Like, I got back up to the 240s. And, yeah, because I was just having a hard time recovering from the relapse. Christmas 2021. Dude, Christmas I fucking just threw in the towel. Dude, the Chef Boyardee ad's playing again. Oh my god, I want another can. I'm looking at dude, the beefaroni's the best. I don't care what anybody says. So yeah, I relapsed off of my diet. December. And then by January, I was just completely back on the bullshit. Dabbling in fast food again. Started dabbling in soda again, which, I mean, I'm still doing right now, but I'll explain why it's not that bad in a little bit. So yeah, come my birthday, May, I sort of just had this realization, like, dude, it's the summer. You had perfect opportunity to have somewhat of a summer bod this summer, and you fucked it up. You know, you had a great fall bod, but the fall bod should have been the summer bod, so it's like, you fucked up. You dropped the ball here. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to force myself back on track, just like I did when I first started this. Just force yourself. Just do it. Think about your health. Channel that fear, right? Channel that fear into fucking doing your diet. And yeah, and I'm back down to, I weighed myself 3-4 days ago. I was 227, 228. So I'm back in the 220s. My family's been noticing that my gut's been going back down. Shirts are fitting a bit better. And then I had Chef Boyardee at fucking 5 in the morning. That's probably gonna send me back to square one. So yeah, but no, I think I've earned to have a really big hiccup like that. I mean, even that's not a big hiccup. I mean, but yeah. So I think mentally I've been doing better because of that. I think noticing, gaining back the weight, it gets that anxiety and that depression going again, because you're like, oh shit, am I going back to where I was? And seeing the results continue to show, because I think if, for anybody who's gone through a big diet, I don't know if anybody's ever shared the fear of, like, what if this was a fluke? What if this was my only chance, and if I ever fuck this up again, I'll never be able to get back down to this, right? That's what I was going through. I was like, am I just going back to where I was? Like, is there no way to get back? Like, even if I try to go, try to get back on track. So knock on wood, man, it's been going all right. I'm back down to the 220s. My gut's going down. I'm feeling mentally better. I've been maintaining my stretching for my back. I've been a little sore the last few days, but I think that's just from just moving some things around the house. That's expected. I'm in my late 20s, but I got the back of a man in his 50s. So yeah, I'm doing all right. I've actually have been doing all right. A few little things here and there as far as family stuff, but we all go through that, right? Some just more extreme than others, but overall we all go through problems. I'm not gonna bore everybody with that. I'm trying to have a positive episode. But other than a few little fucking things, it's been all right. Been enjoying the summer for the most part. Should I even talk about this? There's something that I started doing that I've wanted to do for a long time. For the last 2017. Wow, I'm really bad at math. 18, 19, 20, 21, 5 years. Wow, I just actually had to manually count to 5. I think the fucking tomato sauce and mock ground beef is getting to me. I'm making a movie. I've always been a writer to some extent. It started off with music, and then that moved on to other stuff, like, poetry and fucking short stories and shit. And in 2017, I had an idea for a short film that I wanted to write, which isn't the one that I'm making now. That will still come soon. But I'm saying, like, the interest in making a movie began with this. It was a movie that I fucking began to write, and I think just the self-doubt, and then of course probably a little bit of lack of support or respect from people who I thought were my peers at the time, kind of just made that worse. Like, oh yeah, they're right. I'm like, maybe I'm dumb to even think I could do this. Maybe they're right. It won't go anywhere. And yeah, that's where that stayed for a while. And then 2020, Josh and I were doing an episode of our podcast, which has since ended for fans of that. Sorry if this is how you had to learn that. We were doing episode 5, Godzilla, for the 1998 movie, and it was Alex, Josh, and I, and we were talking about Godzilla and how a found footage Godzilla movie would be great. And then we were just talking about found footage movies as a whole, and then Josh brought up, hey, a found footage Jason movie would be amazing. How has that not been made? And we spoke about that for a few minutes, and after the podcast I was like, dude, that's a really good idea. That's hold on to that. That's interesting. And I mean, that sort of stuck with me since that episode, but then a few months ago we brought it back up. I was like, man, I really want to do something with that. That's a really good idea. So that's where that began. It began, maybe we should make a found footage Friday the 13th short film, right? And I just began to fucking brainstorm, and then I decided you know what? I might not want to make it Jason. I don't want to use an IP that I don't own, obviously. Because if I'm gonna make a movie, I want to own said movie. I don't want some fucking which is understandable for them to come in and be like, hey, this is our character, we own this now, right? God forbid it's on YouTube and the fucking wrong eyes see it. So I was like, I might not make it Jason. And then that went to, maybe it could be Jason, but if it's found footage, the camera, maybe the camera just never sees his face, but it's Jason from the weapon he holds and shit. So maybe it could be Jason, but not Jason, you just know it is. And then I abandoned that. I was like, you know what? Fuck all of that. Because then I just began to think of more, I thought of more ideas. And I was like, huh, that sounds cool. That sounds interesting. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to just do my own thing. Don't make it Jason, so I don't have to follow any kind of lore, any kind of fucking, blah, blah, blah. Let's just make our own thing. I was like, I want to write my own fucking slasher movie. And it was originally going to be a short film, but then just, things evolve as you think. Look, this began as a found footage Jason movie, and now it's not Jason. It's not a short film. It's actually, I'm aiming to be at least an hour 20. just make the full length minimum. And I've abandoned the found footage aspect. Like, dude, that idea completely changed into something completely new, except it being a fucking slasher thing. And I have a few scenes done in the script, and I'm actually really fucking proud with what I'm doing. It takes place in 1993. It was originally going to be 80s, but then I was like, you know what? I really love the early 90s, and I feel like I feel like anybody would make it 80s. So why not like change it up a little bit and just have it be early 90s? Because there was a few like lines and shit that I thought of where I'm like, huh, that would fit more in the 90s. Just given like things that we talk about, because obviously there's scenes where it's just dialogue, just banter. I was like, all right, well, what could we talk about? Like, what would a couple of fucking people in their mid to late 20s be talking about in fucking this time period? And I began to think of more stuff for the early 90s. So I was like, all right, so you know what? Early 90s it is. Let's have fun with that. And I'm really enjoying it, man. I haven't written anything in a few years. The last thing I wrote was that last short film that I wanted to make. And I really want to try and dive back into that once this thing is all done. I don't know, just making a movie. I mean, even before I began to write that old script, making a movie was always just like a thought. Like I just always making YouTube fucking stuff as a kid, and there's a time where I did want to. Like there was this series on that we used to do on our old channel, Awesome versus Brandon, and there was a point where I wanted to make a movie. Like, oh hey, we have 4 parts of this. Let's make a movie to like end it. And I actually like sort of was writing a script. I mean, obviously as I was like 13, 14 at that time. You don't understand fucking structure and shit, so I'm just writing random words that I fucking want them to say. No fucking stage direction and shit. So yeah, that was always just like an interesting thought. Like, hey, like making a movie sounds kind of cool. And then I began to write that script a few years ago because I was trying to tap back into my writing side. And yeah, just now I can finally say I'm trying to make a movie. And, whether it comes out good or not, I want to be able to say, hey, I fucking tried to make a movie, And it's like really tapping into everything that I like doing. I always loved writing. I always loved to be behind a camera, whether it be for just photos or a film. I'm really testing all of my interests, and I'm having a blast, man. I'm really loving it. And the offbeats, which is what we call ourselves, we're all excited about it. It actually feels really cool to finally have like a bunch of support. Because as I've said, I'm sure in past episodes, I don't even like remember what I really talk about in past episodes. Is that unfortunately we all deal with times where our peers like they don't support shit. Like they put things down and they shoot things down, and I find I'm at a place now where like I don't have that. I have people that they will dig your ideas, but they will like it's not just yes man. Like they will say like, oh, like hey man, maybe you should do that. Like maybe that would be better. But it's just cool to have that engagement now, And now like they all want to be in it. So like I have a cast and every character's based off of ourselves. So it's basically we're fucking playing ourselves. So basically it's like what if the Offbeats went on a road trip and came across a fucking slasher starring the Offbeats. I'm fucking having a lot of fun and everybody seems really excited about it. I've been toying around. Oh jeez, everybody wants to get a hold of me when I'm doing something. My phone is drier than a goddamn Mojave, right? And as soon as I start doing something, all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. It's like, all right, thank you guys for fucking waiting till I'm doing something. Where the fuck was I? Oh, I've been toying around with GarageBand. which is an app that's on I think most iPhones. I don't know if Android has that at all. Cause like one of my worries is like how am I gonna like make a score for this? My friend Alex, he actually produces music, and I thought about going to him like, hey man, cause like, well, first off, I wasn't sure what sound I wanted. I wasn't sure if I wanted it to be like an orchestral type of thing with fucking violins and shit, like a lot of those movies from back then, or if I wanted it to be like a synthy retro wave type thing to capture like that late 80s, early 90s vibe, right? But then I decided like let's keep it classic. Let's have it be like a violin based stuff. And GarageBand has, dude, GarageBand is such a fucking awesome app. I had no idea that was just free on phones. I was like, what the fuck? So I was just toying around with it the other night. Like, there's parts for the fucking violin. I was also trying out a cello. I think that's what it was for like the more bassier stuff. And I actually fucking recorded a few things that sound pretty cool for what I'm trying to do. And I sent it to Josh, and he was like, dude, that's actually pretty cool. Like, that actually sounds like some shit that would be in a movie back then. And it's just cool how, like, they make it so simple to where you can, like, do shit that, you know, if you have, you know, obviously if you had the actual instrument, you wouldn't know the fucking first thing. But yeah. So it's like things are sort of, I mean, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx that, are like coming together. I'm doing a script. I finally have people that want to be in a thing that I'm making. Because that was always an issue too. Like, nobody ever wanted to be in stuff. You know, with like a few exceptions, you know, Josh and everyone. But I finally have people that want to be in it. I'm really having fun with it, which I haven't. You know, I think the podcast, Josh and I both just got so burnt out on it that, like, it just got to a point where it's like, you know, this isn't even what I want to do, you know? But I'm still thankful for the podcast, because the podcast helped me, like, really overcome some sort of, like, creative fears, or, like, you know, fear of fucking speaking, being on camera. I think if you watch a lot of my older videos, even up till, like, 2018, there was a lot of clear stage fright, and you know, you try to overcompensate that with like too many jokes that aren't even funny. You know, you're clearly uncomfortable. I think once the podcast switched to video format, it was like, you know what, dude, fuck it. If you stutter, fuck it. They don't gotta watch, right? Just do it. And I think this podcast as well helped me, because I'm allowing myself to be sort of vulnerable on fucking mic and shit. Yeah, so, what was the point of this? Wow, I don't even remember why I started saying this. Oh, the podcast, yeah. We felt so burnt out on the podcast, and I was like, man, this isn't even what I want to do. Like, but I'm thankful for it, because it helped me overcome, that's it. It helped me overcome certain creative fears. And now I'm not afraid to actually do the stuff that I want to do. So, like, I went back to the fucking movie idea. You know, I'm doing a lot of stuff for TikTok and YouTube, which might sound kind of lame, but the stuff I'm doing is stuff that I enjoy. And yeah, I'm actually having fun doing this movie, which the point of this part of the conversation was I haven't enjoyed doing stuff like this in a while. And it's also just so cool to see that everybody's so down with it. Like, everybody's so excited for it, and everybody wants to be in it. And you know, I haven't written anything in years, and I was like, oh, dude, am I even going to be able to fucking, like, am I going to go into this and instantly just have some sort of, you know, block and shit? And, you know, not, again, knock on wood for the 5th time, I'm doing all right. You know, I just sit back at my desk, I fucking crack open a glass Coke. Let's circle back to that part of the fucking conversation. Yes. So yeah, I'm fucking doing a movie. I'm really excited about it. I don't know when it's going to be done. Obviously, I'm still writing it. I got to get some equipment for it, which I'm thinking of just renting stuff. There's a lot of fucking websites and shit where you can rent equipment. So for like cheap too. So I'll probably do that. Even though I have a good camera, it's not good for like a movie, right? And of course you need lighting, and my ring lights aren't gonna cut it, obviously. So yeah, so I'm really excited for that, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. I'm not gonna give too many details away, or so yeah, I'm really excited for that. Now, back to the diet. I am back on the sauce, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back on the soda, but a very specific soda. The Mexican Cokes that come in the tall glass bottles, the one that has all like the real ingredients, not the corn syrup that American version is packed filled with. I buy a few of those a week now. It's fucking so stupid because I've been replaying the Fallout games, which is one of my favorite game series of all time, and grabbing Nuka-Cola, those glass bottles, especially in Fallout 3 in New Vegas, because the bottles look like actual Coke bottles. This is before they turned to the rocket shape. It just gets a craving going, dude. It's like I need a glass Coke right now. So it started with like, all right, I'll buy one or two, and then I just got back on it. But to be honest, man, I think having a few a week isn't gonna do much damage, and especially if it's the Mexican ones, where there's sugar and stuff, but it's like it's not, it's the ingredients that they always put in it back in the 50s and shit. Before the states started putting, started turning it into a lab experiment. No high fructose corn syrup. It tastes so much better. Dude, glass sodas, anyways, are fucking so much better. And a glass Coke is definitely no exception. It's the best thing on the planet. Same with the Sprite. Dude, they have the Sprite from Mexico. They have the Fanta that comes from Mexico. It's legit made the way it was made back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And then obviously in the 80s is when they started packing it with fucking corn syrup. The Fanta is so fucking good. And I haven't had that in a while. I might go and grab one of those, actually. Oh boy, I'm really lacking some self-control these days. But hey, I think you gotta pick your poison, or pick your vices, and I think a few Cokes a week isn't gonna, do too much damage. As long as I'm not horfing down like 2 liters and shit, like I was at one point. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I've been fucking back on the sauce. Oh boy. I actually have one in my fridge right now that's like, now that I'm saying it, it's like calling my fucking name, but I'm gonna fucking control myself. I already had the Chef Boyardee. I'm not gonna step over the line even further. So yeah, man, I'm doing all right. I'm slipping a little bit. I'm dabbling back in the soda. But as far as my diet, like as far as food wise, I have a few hiccups. A few cans of fucking canned pasta. But for the most part, I've been buying my healthy meals again. I've been paying attention to the serving sizes of stuff. So yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. I'm back in the 220s, thankfully. And yeah, my mind is pretty okay right now. And I say that cautiously, because knowing my luck, as soon as I hit stop on this recording, my house is gonna blow up, right? So yeah, I'm fucking maintaining the weight. I'm feeling better mentally because of it. I'm writing a movie. Dude, it feels so good to be writing again, dude. I haven't written since that last script, but even before that, I hadn't written anything in like 2 years. I used to love writing. Dude, as I said, it was music, short stories, and fucking poems and stuff. I just liked writing. And I'm really glad to finally be tapping back into that. And I'm tapping back into being behind the camera, because I haven't taken the camera out in a long time either. So yeah, this has been the summer of like getting reacquainted with your old hobbies and interests and using them to fucking make something that do something that you wanted to do for a while. Is fucking make a movie. And yeah, sorry to keep coming back to that, but I'm just really happy about that. And just, as I said, to have fucking support for it and to have people like actually excited, like holy shit, like can't wait to fucking read it when it's done. Like that's awesome. Like I don't think people understand how awesome that feels. Like to simply just show a friend, like, hey man, I'm interested in that. Like that sounds cool. Um, and not only just showing support, like for people to actually like, hey man, I like can't wait to be in that. You know, like Josh is like aching to fucking be in it, and Sav is as well. Like I was talking to Josh and Sav on FaceTime like a week or so ago, and I was like tossing out like the, cause this is before I finally had it down what I wanted to make, like as far as like what story I wanted to tell and how it ended and shit. And I was on FaceTime, like we were tossing ideas back and forth, and I was like, wow, this is like really cool that like I don't know, it's just simple. Like wow, people are fucking enthusiastic about something that you're doing, and they want to be a part of it. You know, kind of reminds me of when Josh and I first started doing the podcast, and like Cody and Alex were like, dude, we got to be on it. Like when are we gonna be on it? It's like, oh shit, like you actually want to be on it, and you know, it's like because you know you had sort of the opposite of that for so long. It's like, oh wait, you want to be in stuff? Like you're excited about it? I don't know. It's just cool to see the other side of that coin, and it feels great. So yeah, I guess that's the sum up of how I've been. I'm doing okay. Mentally, I'm all right. Physically, I'm doing all right. I'm back down to the 220s. You know, I got the summer bod in August. You know, I'm gonna be crushing it this fall. Unless my back goes out again, like fucking last year. I had to be in bed for a month and a half. Let's knock on wood for the 20th time, because knowing my luck, it will happen. So yeah, I'm doing all right, and I'm getting reacquainted with old flames, with old loves, you know, writing, being behind a camera, and just, I don't know, at risk of sounding like a douchebag, creating, you know, just feels good to be making stuff again. Because I remember back when we were kids, like that was, you know what? I'm gonna save all that for another episode. But yeah, so thank you all for tuning in again. Sorry to ramble for 34 minutes. I hope you were able to keep up. Well, not keep up. Hope you're able to understand me, because I'm like a fucking just hopping around from topic to topic. Let's see. Is there advice that I can give? You know what? I think I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna give a word of advice at the end of every episode that sort of relates to what I've been going through. Revisit your hobbies. If you abandon something because of work, because of life, because of a relationship, anything. If anything made you walk away for something that you loved, please return to it. You know, I know a lot of people that like used to have these hobbies and they used to do these things, and like either, you know, like myself, they walked away from it because of like, you know, because Josh has a thing that he was writing a few years ago, and like myself, it would get shot down by people, and it's like he walked away from it too, and it's like I keep telling him, like, man, I really want you to get back into that, man. I really want you to write that again. I loved what I read. Like, you have something there, dude. So, like that, if you ever walked away from a hobby or anything for a reason like that, whether it be life, job, whatever, try to get reacquainted with it. Because, like, I forgot how much I loved writing. Simply just, hey, let me just sit at my desk for hours and play some music and just brainstorm fucking, you know, even if it's something as simple as, like, what is a character going to say to this? It's like, I've been having a lot of fun with it. So, do that for whatever your thing is. Just revisit it. If it's a short visit, long visit, just try to remember what made you. Try to revisit things that made you happy. And that's where I'll end that. Thank you again. I'm Joe Nostalgia. I'm Joe Sciatica. I'm Joey Retro. And I am my own worst enemy.